We live in a world where everyone wants growth, success, and fulfillment, but very few are willing to face the truths that actually create it. Personal growth doesn't come from comfort. It comes from stretching yourself, facing challenges, and embracing the lessons most people run away from. Motivation is powerful, but it is also fleeting. It's like a spark that lights a fire, but if there is no fuel, the flame burns out quickly. That is why so many people start strong but never finish. They get inspired by a speech, a book, or a moment of excitement, but when the feelings fade, so does their drive. Discipline, however, is what takes over when the emotions are gone. Discipline is not about feelings. It's about commitment. It is the decision to keep moving, keep building, and keep pushing, even on the days when you don't feel like it. Motivation is emotional. It's the rush of energy you feel after hearing something that inspires you. But emotions are unpredictable. One day you wake up ready to conquer the world, and the next day you don't even feel like getting out of bed. If you rely only on motivation, your life will look like a roller coaster, full of highs and lows, bursts of energy, followed by long stretches of stagnation. Discipline, however, makes your life steady. It's the anchor that holds you firm when the winds of emotions blow in different directions. Think about the athlete who trains for the Olympics. Do you think they are motivated every morning to get up at 5 a.m., to sweat, to run until their lungs burn, to lift weights until their muscles ache? Absolutely not. What keeps them going is not motivation. It is discipline. They have trained their mind and body to obey their goals, not their moods. They understand that success belongs to those who show up consistently, not those who show up only when they feel like it. Discipline is the bridge between goals and results. Everyone sets goals. Everyone dreams of a better body, a better career, a better life. But only those who discipline themselves reach the other side. It is easy to dream. It is hard to persist. That's why discipline matters more than motivation. Discipline doesn't wait for inspiration. It creates progress through routine and consistency. The truth is, your emotions are not reliable. If you wait to feel like doing the work, you will rarely get anything done. Discipline teaches you to act first and let the feelings follow. For example, many people never feel like going to the gym, but once they push themselves to go, they end up feeling good afterward. The feeling follows the action, not the other way around. Discipline understands this principle. It doesn't ask, "Do I feel like it?" It simply says, "It must be done." Discipline also builds trust with yourself. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you strengthen your confidence. You prove to yourself that you are not controlled by excuses, laziness, or fleeting emotions. You prove that you can rely on yourself to show up, no matter what. And over time, this self-trust becomes the foundation of unshakable confidence. You know you can depend on you. The most successful people are not the most motivated. They are the most disciplined. They don't always have more talent or better luck. What they have is the ability to do what needs to be done, whether they feel like it or not. They understand that discipline compounds over time. Every small act of discipline, waking up early, eating right, practicing a skill, finishing a task, adds up. And eventually the small steps turn into massive achievements. Motivation may get you started, but it cannot carry you to the finish line. Discipline is the engine that keeps you moving when the excitement fades. Discipline shows up when motivation disappears. Discipline is what separates those who dream from those who achieve. If you want lasting growth, don't chase motivation, build discipline. Because one day when your emotions are silent and your energy is gone, it will be discipline that whispers, "Keep going." A failure is one of the most misunderstood words in our vocabulary. For many, it feels like shame, defeat, or even the end of the road. But the truth is, failure is not final. It is a teacher. Every failure carries within it the seeds of wisdom, growth, and preparation. If you can shift your perspective, you'll realize that failure is not a dead-end street, but a stepping stone. It's not the grave of your dreams. It's the tuition you pay to learn how to make them real. Think about school. You don't pass a class without paying tuition, investing your time, and sometimes struggling with lessons you don't understand. Life is the same way. Success demands a price, and one of the currencies it accepts is failure. every setback you endure, every plan that falls apart, and every attempt that doesn't work out, those are the payments you make for wisdom. They sharpen your understanding, expose your weaknesses, and train your resilience. Without failure, success is shallow. With failure, success becomes deep and lasting. The difference between people who succeed and those who quit is not that the successful never fail, it's that they fail forward. They don't let failure define them, they let it refine them. They don't see failure as a wall, they see it as a sign pointing to another direction. Each time they stumble, they take a lesson from it and use that lesson as fuel for the next attempt. Over time, the accumulation of these lessons builds the foundation for real achievement. Consider the stories of some of the greatest innovators and leaders in history. They were not strangers to failure. Thomas Edison made thousands of unsuccessful attempts before creating a working light bulb. He famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That is failing forward. Understanding that every wrong turn brings you closer to the right path. Walt Disney was once fired from a newspaper job because his editor said he lacked creativity. Imagine if he had stopped there. Every major accomplishment we admire today is built on a mountain of failures that were transformed into stepping stones. The truth is, failure humbles you. It forces you to confront what you don't know and what you need to improve. It strips away arrogance and builds character. You can't grow without facing resistance, and failure is resistance in its purest form. It hurts, but it teaches. It wounds, but it heals with wisdom. It doesn't destroy you unless you let it. In fact, failure has a strange power. It can either chain you to fear or catapult you into growth. The choice is yours. Failing forward requires courage. It means looking at your mistakes without denial, owning them, and then asking the question, what can I learn from this? That question changes everything. Instead of wasting time blaming others, drowning in self-pity, or giving up, you turn failure into feedback. And feedback is one of the most valuable tools for growth. When you fail forward, failure doesn't break you, it builds you. It's also important to realize that failure tests your hunger. If your dream can be killed by one failure, it wasn't strong enough to begin with. But if you can keep going after 10 failures, 20 failures, or 100 failures, then your dream is truly alive. Each time you get back up, you're proving to yourself and the world that your purpose is greater than your pain. So, don't fear failure. Expect it. Embrace it. Learn from it. See it as tuition, the price of admission to success. Every failed attempt brings you closer to the breakthrough. Every setback strengthens the muscle of resilience. Every mistake is shaping you into the person who can handle the weight of success once it arrives. Remember, this failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of the process of success. You don't fail your way out. You fail your way forward. So take your failures, pay the tuition, and let them teach you. Because on the other side of failure is wisdom, strength, and the kind of success that lasts. We often overestimate what can be done in a day and underestimate what can be accomplished in a year. That is the power of consistency. True growth doesn't happen in one giant leap. It happens in small, daily steps repeated over time. Consistency is the secret ingredient behind transformation. It takes ordinary actions repeated faithfully and turns them into extraordinary results. Think about water dripping onto a rock. One drop does nothing. 10 drops may not make a difference, but thousands and thousands of drops over time can carve through stone. That's what consistency does. It may look insignificant in the moment, but when multiplied across time, it becomes unstoppable. Growth is not built on intensity alone. It's built on persistence. Anyone can be motivated for a week, but the person who stays disciplined day after day, even when it seems boring, is the one who reaps transformation. Consistency creates momentum. At first, progress feels slow, almost invisible. You go to the gym and don't see results right away. You read a few pages of a book and don't feel smarter instantly. You save a little money and the account doesn't look much different. But keep going. Day after day, the small steps start to add up. That's when momentum kicks in. Like a snowball rolling downhill, consistency gathers strength until it becomes a force that can't be stopped. The challenge is that consistency is not glamorous. It's not exciting to show up every day and do the same thing over and over. That's why so many people give up too soon. They want quick results, overnight transformation, instant success. But growth doesn't work that way. Transformation comes to those who are willing to embrace the process. Consistency demands patience, faith, and resilience. It requires trusting that the small things you're doing today are shaping a future you cannot yet see. Success is rarely about doing one thing perfectly. It's about doing many small things faithfully. Great musicians practice scales daily. Great athletes train even when no one is watching. Great leaders read, reflect, and refine their skills consistently. The world sees the highlight moments, the victories, the championships, the big breaks, but behind every moment of greatness is a lifetime of consistent effort. Consistency also builds identity. When you show up every day for something, it becomes part of who you are. If you write every day, you become a writer. If you train every day, you become an athlete. If you serve every day, you become a leader. Your identity is not shaped by what you do occasionally, but by what you do consistently. That's why even small, repeated habits have so much power. They are shaping not just your results, but also your character. And here's the beautiful part: consistency compounds. Just like money grows with compound interest, your actions grow with compound effort. Every workout builds on the last. Every prayer deepens your spirit. Every book read sharpens your mind. Over time, the effects multiply and the growth becomes exponential. What started as small, almost invisible progress turns into undeniable transformation. The truth is, consistency isn't about perfection. You will miss days. You will fall short. But what matters is that you keep coming back. One failure doesn't erase the progress of 100 faithful days. Consistency is built on persistence, not perfection. As long as you refuse to quit, the growth will come. So don't despise small beginnings. Don't get discouraged when results don't show immediately. Plant the seeds, water them daily, and trust the process. Because one day, without even realizing it, you will look back and see how far you've come. And you will know that it wasn't one grand moment that changed your life. It was the steady, consistent choices you made every single day. Consistency creates growth, and growth creates transformation. If you want to change your life, don't look for shortcuts. Choose the path of small, repeated effort, and let time work its magic. The results may not come overnight, but when they do, they will last a lifetime. One of the greatest traps in life is the hunger for applause. We are wired to want approval, to feel accepted, and to be celebrated by others. But chasing popularity is like chasing the wind. No matter how fast you run, it will always slip through your fingers. The applause fades, the opinions shift, and the same people who cheer you today can criticize you tomorrow. If your life is built on popularity, you will always live as a prisoner to people's opinions. But if your life is built on purpose, you will have direction, stability, and fulfillment that no crowd can give and no critic can take away. Popularity is about perception, but purpose is about reality. Popularity is loud, but purpose is deep. Popularity changes with trends, but purpose anchors you through every season. When you chase applause, you spend your life trying to impress people who often don't even care about your long-term well-being. But when you live for purpose, you align your life with something bigger than yourself, something that gives meaning to your struggles and value to your victories. Purpose doesn't always make you popular. In fact, sometimes it makes you stand alone. History is filled with people who were misunderstood, criticized, or even hated because they chose purpose over applause. Innovators, reformers, leaders, and visionaries, many of them walked through seasons where the crowd was against them. Yet they endured because they weren't living for claps, they were living for calling. And in the end, their purpose gave birth to legacies that outlived them. The problem with popularity is that it never satisfies. No amount of likes, followers, or cheers will fill the emptiness of a life without meaning. You can gain the whole world's approval and still feel lost if you are not aligned with your true purpose. But purpose has a way of filling you even when no one notices your efforts. When you wake up every day knowing why you exist and what you are working toward, you carry a peace and a fulfillment that applause cannot buy. Purpose also gives you direction. Life without purpose feels like drifting on an open sea. Every wave of opinion and every gust of pressure pushes you off course. But with purpose, you have a compass. You know where you're going, even if the path is hard. You stop saying yes to everything just to please people, and you start saying yes only to what aligns with your mission. Purpose simplifies your life because it makes your decisions clear. If it feeds your purpose, you embrace it. If it distracts from your purpose, you let it go. Choosing purpose over popularity also builds resilience. When your worth is tied to applause, every criticism feels like a crushing blow. But when your worth is rooted in purpose, criticism becomes noise. You don't need everyone to understand you. You just need to stay faithful to the mission you were created for. And the truth is, those who live with purpose eventually earn respect, even from those who once mocked them. Because purpose creates results that popularity never could. Living by purpose also leaves a legacy. Popularity is temporary, it dies when the crowd moves on. But purpose is eternal, it lives on in the people you impact, the work you create, and the difference you make. No one remembers who was the most popular in high school, but the world never forgets those who live with purpose and change lives. So the choice is simple, but it is not easy. You can live for the cheers of the crowd. You can live for the calling of your purpose. The first will leave you empty. The second will make your life meaningful. Every day you must decide, will you chase applause, or will you chase alignment with who you were truly created to be? Because in the end, popularity may make you known, but only purpose will make you fulfilled. And when you choose purpose over popularity, you won't just impress the crowd for a moment, you will inspire the world for a lifetime. Every person reaches moments in life where a choice must be made: do what is comfortable or do what is right. Comfort is tempting. It's safe, familiar, and easy. But comfort rarely produces growth. Comfort asks nothing of you, demands no sacrifice, and requires no courage. Character, however, is built in the uncomfortable places. When you take the harder road because it aligns with your values, when you refuse shortcuts because they compromise your integrity, and when you stand for truth, even if it costs you applause. Character is forged in fire, not in ease. It grows stronger each time you resist the temptation to settle for comfort. When you choose honesty over a convenient lie, when you put in the hard work instead of looking for an easy way out, when you endure discipline instead of giving in to laziness, you are building character. And though it feels costly in the moment, the reward is a strength that cannot be taken from you. Comfort often disguises itself as kindness to yourself, but in reality, it steals your potential. It whispers, take the easy way, avoid the struggle, skip the sacrifice. But every time you listen to comfort, you trade away growth. Comfort may feel good now, but it leaves you weak later. Character is the opposite. It may feel heavy now, but it makes you strong later. True success is never found in avoiding discomfort, but in walking through it and coming out refined. Think about the greatest leaders, inventors, and heroes you admire. None of them built their legacy by clinging to comfort. They faced difficulty head-on. They endured trials, setbacks, and sacrifices that demanded resilience and courage. What made them great was not that they lived easy lives. It was that they chose character over comfort, time and time again. Every act of character is a seed you plant. At first, it doesn't look like much. Saying no to temptation, holding firm to your values, working hard when others quit. These seem like small decisions. But over time, they grow into a harvest of trust, respect, and influence. People may not notice your choices immediately, but character always reveals itself. It shows in how you carry yourself, how you treat others, and how you stand firm when storms come. Comfort fades, character remains. The path of comfort is crowded, but the path of character is narrow. It's not popular to say no when everyone else says yes. It's not easy to do the hard thing when shortcuts are available. But the narrow path leads to growth, while the crowded path leads to regret. And deep down, you know this to be true. Because every time you've chosen comfort over character, you felt weaker afterward. Every time you've chosen character over comfort, you felt stronger. Growth always lives outside the comfort zone. Muscles grow through resistance. Minds grow through challenge. Souls grow through sacrifice. If you want to become someone worth following, someone trustworthy and strong, You must be willing to walk away from what is easy and lean into what is right. And here is the beauty over time. The uncomfortable becomes natural. The more you choose character, the easier it becomes to keep choosing it. What once felt heavy begins to feel like strength. You start to respect yourself, trust yourself, and others begin to do the same. Comfort gives you temporary relief, but character gives you lasting growth. So the next time you face a choice, remember this truth. Comfort is easy now, but costly later. Character is costly now, but rewarding later. One will keep you small, the other will make you grow. Don't settle for what feels good in the moment. Choose what builds you for a lifetime. Because in the end, comfort will fade away, but character will carry you through every season of life. Growth comes not from doing what is easy, but from doing what is right. Every great achievement begins as a vision in someone's mind. Dreams have the power to ignite passion, stir hope, and paint a picture of a future far greater than the present. But vision alone doesn't build reality. Without action, even the biggest dream remains only a wish. The bridge between vision and reality is built with small, consistent steps. It is tempting to want everything at once, to leap from where you are straight into the fullness of your dream. Yet life doesn't work that way. Growth is gradual, and transformation happens one step at a time. When you dream big, you give yourself permission to see beyond limitations. You allow your imagination to stretch, to believe in possibilities others might consider impossible. Big dreams are vital because they give direction. They are the compass that keeps you moving towards something meaningful. But big dreams can also feel overwhelming. The distance between where you are now and where you want to be can seem impossible to cross. That's why starting small is not just wise, it's necessary. Every small step matters. Writing one page a day can eventually become a book. Saving a little money consistently can grow into financial freedom. Exercising daily, even for a short time, can transform your health. Small beginnings might look insignificant, but they are powerful because they create momentum. Consistency in small actions builds habits, and habits shape destiny. You don't have to do everything at once. You just need to do something today. Starting small also builds confidence. When you accomplish small goals, you prove to yourself that progress is possible. Each step forward, no matter how small, is evidence that you are capable of growth. Success is not built on giant leaps, but on the accumulation of small wins. These small victories fuel your belief and give you the strength to keep moving toward the bigger vision. The truth is, many people quit not because their dream is too big, but because they despise small beginnings. They want the glory without the grind, the harvest without the planting, the results without the process. But nothing great is built overnight. Skyscrapers are built one brick at a time. Rivers are formed from countless drops of water. Dreams are achieved by stringing together countless small acts of faith and effort. Think of the stories of successful people you admire. Almost all of them began with very little. They didn't start with fame, wealth, or massive resources. They started small, with an idea, with a step, with a decision to begin. Over time, those small beginnings multiplied into something extraordinary. What set them apart was not they had more talent or more opportunity, but that they dared to dream big and were humble enough to start small. Starting small also teaches humility and patience. It reminds you that the journey is just as important as the destination. The small steps develop your character, refine your skills, and prepare you to handle the weight of greater success when it arrives. Without the lessons learned in the small stages, you would not have the strength or wisdom to sustain the dream when it becomes reality. So if your dream feels impossible right now, don't be discouraged. Break it down. Ask yourself, what can I do today? What small step can I take that moves me closer to my vision? Then take that step, and tomorrow take another. Over time, those steps will add up. Progress may feel slow, but slow progress is still progress. One day you will look back and realize that the small things were never small. They were the foundation of everything. Dream big, because big dreams give you direction. But start small, because small beginnings give you progress. Together, they create transformation. The world is waiting for your dream to come alive, and it all starts with one step. Growth is not about chance, it's about choice. Every truth you've heard is a reminder that the life you desire is built one decision, one habit, and one step at a time. Discipline outlasts fleeting motivation. Failure, when embraced, becomes the tuition for success. Consistency, though ordinary, creates extraordinary transformation. Purpose provides direction when popularity cannot. Character keeps you standing when comfort would make you fall. And dreams, no matter how big, only come alive when you dare to start small. These truths are not theories, they are principles of life. If you live by them daily, they will shape your future. Growth doesn't happen by accident. It happens when you commit to the process, even when it's hard, even when no one is watching, even when results feel slow. The person who keeps moving, keeps choosing, and keeps believing is the person who becomes unstoppable. So don't just hear these truths, apply them. Let them sink into your mind, guide your choices, and fuel your actions. The world doesn't need another person chasing comfort, applause, or shortcuts. The world needs people of discipline, consistency, purpose, and character. People willing to live by truth and grow into their highest potential. Your growth is your responsibility and your life is your message. Every small choice is shaping the person you are becoming. Choose wisely. Choose growth. And as you do, you won't just change your life. You'll inspire everyone around you to rise higher too.